The formula of change.
That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Thank you so much. If you're a man with a busy career or your own business and you want to find the right girlfriend, life partner or wife, this video is for you. If you want to learn how to change anything in your life, you have to understand the formula of change. It explains the basic principle of how you can get yourself to take constructive and consistent action over X amount of months until you can successfully check out of the dating process to then settle down with the right woman. So imagine the formula of change as a calculation. You have something on top and then you have something in the denominator. I apologize that I don't know the specific mathematical terms. Remember, English is my second language. I'm originally from Germany. So in German we say im Zähler and im Nenner. So you have something in the denominator and something on top. Whatever is on top of the formula increases the value and whatever is on the bottom decreases it. So if you want to increase the probability that change is going to occur, imagine C equals, then you have to have three components. The first component for change to occur in any area of your life is a degree of dissatisfaction. If you've changed anything, perhaps you lost weight, maybe you stopped smoking, maybe you stopped consuming alcohol, maybe you made a change in your business, you first realize that there was a degree of emotional pain. If you want to get yourself to change a habit, to make a big change that's going to require effort, then you need pain. You need emotional dissatisfaction. The higher the pain, the higher your willingness to change. And if you feel like you're having a little bit of a difficult time, perhaps because you're worried about what people think of you, or you're worried about a fear of rejection, you have all these fears. Maybe it's even just that you don't want to go out there and put this effort in and go on several dates until you can find the right one. Well, all this fear, all this pain, right, has to pale in comparison to the pain of what's going to happen if you stay the same or if things actually get worse if you don't make the change. So in order to get emotional leverage over yourself, to get yourself to take constructive action, you have to understand how much pain you've experienced in the past, how much pain you're experiencing in the moment, and how much pain you're going to experience in the future as a result of not making a change. So what's the pain that you've experienced in the past because of this? Perhaps you're already divorced. Perhaps you've had a couple of relationships. Perhaps it's just the fact that you're a little bit lonely. Perhaps it's the fact that you're already living a good life, but you have nobody to share it with. What's the pain you've experienced in the past? What's the pain you're experiencing right now? What's the pain you're going to experience in the future? And if you really want to step up emotional leverage, then ask yourself, how is this going to negatively affect other people? Because we as human beings, we're going to do way more for other people than we're ever going to do for ourselves. So if you understand how this is negatively going to affect the people around you, then you're really going to start taking action, because I would bet that if you're a good guy, and most of the people who are watching this, I would say are, then you've done things in the past for other people that you would never do for yourself. You've put in effort, you've gone through challenges, emotional, interpersonal, for other people more so than for yourself. Yes, obviously you yourself are important, but you have to ask yourself, how is this going to impact your children, your future children, your friends, your parents, if you don't take this serious? What are the consequences? What are the consequences for you in the next 5 or 10 years? Now, do you need a relationship to survive? No. But if you want to be happy, absolutely you have to have one. If you look at the wheel of life, there's different areas we have in our life. And one of the most fundamental ones to experience happiness as a man, as a human being, is an intimate relationship. Yes, you can meet your need for love and connection through a dog, through family members, through other people. That's all well and good. But if you want to be truly happy, you have to have this source. So that's pain. Understand the pain. It's, in other words, away from motivation. And more often than not, we're going to do difficult things, more so because we experience stress, sadness, anger, perhaps we feel down. We want to avoid pain as opposed to gaining pleasure. Away from motivation is oftentimes a lot stronger than towards motivation. A very simple tactic that I give my clients to start taking action is to stop masturbating. If you stop jerking off, you will be way more motivated to go out there and socialize. But if you supply your brain with an unnecessarily high dose of prolactin, which is the neurotransmitter or the hormone that's being released in your brain after you orgasm, well, how do you feel? You feel lethargic. You don't feel particularly excited to go out there. You're already good. You're already happy. Now, there's a difference between you making love with yourself and making love with another person, because if you make love with a woman, that actually boosts testosterone by up to 800%. I believe Andrew Huberman said that temporarily, if you have sex and you don't orgasm for a week, that boosts testosterone by up to 400%. Now then afterwards it normalizes itself more or less, but simply the interaction of the act of intercourse is going to boost testosterone. So that's perfectly fine, right? So having an orgasm in that context isn't really an issue. But doing it by yourself, you actually make yourself more lethargic. So if you don't do that, that creates a degree of pain, right? At some point, you really want to go out there. You really want to find somebody, right? So that's good, to increase your own away from motivation. But here's one thing you have to understand. Pain can't be the long-term driver for action because it's going to wear you out. Push is going to wear you out, is what Tony says. And you also have to understand what Gunther Schmidt says, probably one of Germany's best psychologists. Increasing the emotional pain, your sense of dissatisfaction with how things are, how things were, and how things are going to be, increases your willingness to change, but it doesn't increase your own sense of competence. So if you want to feel competent to be able to make a change, it has to be towards motivation. It has to be a pull. And that's the second step that has to take place, which is a vision. You have to have a clear vision of how amazing life is going to be if you have a woman like that by your side. And Les Brown says most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss, but because they aim too low and hit. If you're already limiting yourself in your mind in terms of the quality of the person that you could possibly conceive having by your side, if you think, well, I could never get this, I can only get this, and you're not actually excited by it, well, then you're not likely to want to go out there and work for it. You really have to ask yourself, what would it be like if it was amazing, if I was really physically attracted to her, if we spiritually connect, emotionally, our values are aligned, I can really see her as an amazing mother and an intimate partner, somebody that you'd actually be excited to be with. If you don't have that vision, no wonder that you're not excited to go out there. You have to visualize what it's like, not because you're going to manifest it magically. Manifestation works if you set a goal and you take strategic and constructive action. You improve and change your approach, and then you master your mindset, which is very important. Then manifestation works because it's a vision. It gives you something to orient yourself towards, of course, but not through magic. Perhaps there is a spiritual law like The Secret that's working in addition to taking action, but it may just be taking action. The thing is, you'll never be able to take constructive action if you don't have a clear vision that excites you. If you don't have a vision of what life would be like if you had your ideal family, your ideal intimate life. If you don't have that, you're not likely to want to go out there and socialize, be that on online dating apps, be that in person, and go on dates, create that volume that's necessary to then screen and select the right person from it. So that's the second component. Really in detail, what would it be like if I were to wake up every morning? What would my perfect average day be? Not the 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks a year that you go on holidays, however much you can afford at this stage in your career, your business, but really the everyday situations. What would they be like? You come home, she greets you, she's super excited to wake up next to you, the intimacy, you have children. Like, what is it for you, right? Somebody you're physically attracted to, probably doesn't have to be a top model. You click on values. Maybe you go to church together, maybe the complete opposite, right? What is it that would excite you? And really, really, really write that down. That's the second step. Now, you might have a huge degree of dissatisfaction. You really don't like being single. You really want to be in a relationship and you know exactly what it would be like. But there's a third component that's missing, which is a concrete action plan. You need to know the next steps. Now, you don't have to know all the steps to make initial change, but you need to know the next steps to get yourself into momentum. That doesn't mean that you have to have the entire, so if you want to get from Germany to Spain, you don't have to have the entire way mapped out. You can just start walking and then you're going to go through, I don't know, I'm stuck at geography. You're going to go through whatever country, Austria, Switzerland, maybe you go to Italy, maybe you take a boat, I don't know where you happen to be going, right? Or you go through France. But Jesus Christ, please don't make fun of me for my lack of geography. Geography was actually the first subject that I got an F or an E in high school back in the day, so I really suck at it. My apologies. But you just make yourself onto the journey. You get on the journey and then you figure it out. You put one foot in front of the other. But you have to know the first two steps. You got to know where to start. And if you have emotional dissatisfaction and you know a positive vision and you are sufficiently satisfied, you have a positive vision and you have a concrete plan, then the probability is very, very high that change is going to occur. And if you tweak every single one of those individual factors, you increase your dissatisfaction, you increase your excitement for the positive vision and clarity, and you refine your plan, those are the components that stand for it. Now, what's at the bottom? What's in the denominator? What's going to lower the value? What's going to decrease the probability that change is going to occur? The assumed cost of change. Why do people not change? Why do people have all of this, but they still don't change? Because they believe that the cost of change is way too high. What do you believe that you'll have to give up if you commit yourself to learning about online dating apps, how to improve your communication in this specific setting? Perhaps you're already a really good communicator in business, in your career, in general social interactions, but with women you just can't figure it out. What do you believe it's going to cost you if you commit yourself to that? Is it time? Is it effort? Are you worried what your friend Steven is going to think about you? What do you believe it's going to cost you to put yourself on that journey that may last a couple of months, maybe a year, who knows? Maybe 2, maybe 3 months. What do you believe it's going to cost you? And be really honest with yourself. Most often, it's limiting beliefs, as in you don't think it's really possible for you, or you don't think it's time or some nonsense, or you're actually worried about the opinion of somebody else. For example, if you were to hire a coach and get some extra, you can do it by yourself. It might just take you 5, 10, 15 years. You just have to put in a shit ton of effort for a really long period of time. It's absolutely possible. But if you were to consider getting a coach, getting somebody who can help you with this, what is this going to say about you if you have to admit to yourself and perhaps even other people that you're getting help in this area? Ooh, is your ego triggered a little bit? As a man, you should have already figured this out. Well, let me tell you something. If your knee was broken, would you try to fix that yourself? If your back was broken, would you try to fix that yourself? If you had problems with your finances, would you try to fix that yourself, or would you get an expert? If you, whatever, right? If you're trying to lose weight, would you consult an expert? Why is this such an intimate area that we as men get triggered about? And of course we have an ego. Of course we don't want to admit that. That's one of the reasons why I value privacy so much. I work with individuals. Most of the awesome success stories will never see the light of day, because we value privacy so much. Now, some people, they go through the program and they're extraordinarily happy with sharing their experiences because they want other people to benefit from it. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. The success stories that you see on the website is only a tiny, tiny piece, because most people, they don't want to put their face out there, which is fine. That's why we value privacy. So first of all, nobody would ever have to find out about this. Even if you just commit yourself to that journey by yourself, you could just do it by yourself without telling people about it. You just start socializing a little bit more, you start building your Instagram. Yeah, and you might get a couple of comments, but it's completely irrelevant. So first of all, understand it's just an area of expertise. And everybody has an opinion, right? Your friends, they have an opinion. Your family members have an opinion. But the only person who you should there's only 2 people whose opinion you should care about when it comes to this dating and relationship thing. That's you and me. You in terms of who you want to be with, what you want your life to be like, and the expertise that I supply on these free YouTube videos, 2,000 short form videos on TikTok, hundreds and hundreds of Instagram, a podcast, a coaching program, because in my case, it's not an opinion. I've worked with men from 31 countries, from all around the world, and helped them find the right girlfriend, life partner, or wife. I've seen thousands of texting conversations perhaps at this point in time. I've worked with people in person, online. You might have an opinion, your friends might have an opinion, but I have real knowledge based on real data. And your friends, you have to understand, your real friends, if they might judge you a little bit in the beginning, they just want the best for you. Now, your real good friends, they're going to be open-minded towards the possibility of you improving yourself. And the best friends, they'll always be open to getting expert advice, because how else are you going to move forward in life if you don't consider experts, right? But just don't judge them in the beginning. If you put yourself on this journey, you start working on your Instagram, you start working on your social skills, and they're a little bit, surprised. Oh, wow, Jack is really putting himself out there. Joe is really putting himself out there. Yeah, that's fine, because people have gotten used to you being a certain way. But if you just show yourself unapologetically, unashamedly in this life, you're going to get a couple of comments, but they want the best for you. Your friends want the best for you. Your family members want the best for you. But in German, we have a saying, gut gemeint ist nicht gut getan. Well intended doesn't equal well. Just because they mean well doesn't mean it's the right advice for you at this point in time. So, what do you believe you'll have to give up? And if you can reduce the perceived cost of change, because the actual cost of change, yeah, you're going to spend some money, you're going to spend some time, but you're not really going to spend any resource you're never going to get back except for a little bit of time. The real cost of change is actually really small. You just have to create a new identity in a sense. You're still going to remain who you are, but you'll just shift certain things about yourself. That's very individual. If you want my help with that, apply for a free initial consultation call. Regardless, put these components into practice, increase your degree of dissatisfaction with how it is right now. A little tease. What would your children, your existing children or your future children, think of you if they saw you in this situation right now? They probably wouldn't be too happy, okay? Create pain for yourself. Second, imagine how awesome it's gonna be. It's absolutely possible. There's men out there who are doing it who have no advantage you don't have. If men like you have done it, you can do it too. So imagine how awesome life can be if you have this amazing woman by your side. And then figure out a plan, do it by yourself, use free resources, use paid resources, and then decrease the perceived cost of change. Change your perception. In other words, ground yourself in truth and understand it's actually a very simple process. We're not trying to fly to Mars here. That's for Elon. We're simply trying to help you find an amazing woman. And even if the percentage of women who are right for you are low, the total number is still great, whether that's in Malaga, like where Fernanda and I am right now, whether that's in the US, anywhere in Europe, wherever you happen to be. It's absolutely possible. Commit yourself to it, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.